The Mickey Mouse onesie has made a comeback, as has a serious video. So I had a conversation with a friend a few nights ago, and he was back in town visiting from college, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and slowly but surely the conversation kind of got on to how we both were doing. And part of his side of the conversation was asking me how my love life was. And to that question I simply answered nothing, and he suddenly looked at me like I had grown a second head. To which he then responded with, "You're in high school, you should be having fun with guys. You don't have to necessarily call it a relationship. You can have fun with multiple guys, and it doesn't have to necessarily be anything sexual. You know, you can just be going on dates with multiple people, or, you know, just having fun because you're in high school and you're young." He also said something along the lines of, you know, don't let your high school years go by, you know, you're only 17 once. Don't, you know, let your high school years go by and then look back on it and say, I wish I would have dated more, or, you know, I wish I would have this, I wish I would have that. And he then asked me, you know, is there anybody who you're interested in? There has to be somebody who you're interested in. There has to be. I mean, you're a teenage girl. To which I then responded with, no, I'm not really interested in anyone at the moment. The second thought that immediately popped into my head was, why does being in a relationship have to be my main focus? I get a lot of questions about the subject that I'm going to be talking about today, and I think it's because, you know, my channel is a very like free and open space, and people are, you know, they feel free to ask me any questions that they have for me on this channel. And some questions that I get a lot of the time are, why aren't you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship? How come you're not in a relationship? Do you want to be in a relationship and you just haven't found anyone who wants to be in a relationship with you? And all sorts of questions kind of concerning that subject matter. And after having this conversation where this person, and I know he didn't mean it to sound harsh or sound like he was pushing me in any way, but after having this conversation with this person where he was really pushing the idea on me that being in a relationship in high school was almost something that was expected and it was kind of a societal necessity, it really got me thinking, why is it that I'm almost expected to be in a relationship at 17 years old and I can't be solely happy with focusing on myself? We live in an age where almost everywhere you look, it can seem that all of your friends or all of your peers or all of your classmates are in relationships. Whether that be a fully committed one where they've been going out for months or maybe even years, to people who kind of seem to be dating a new person every single week. And I've also noticed that we live in a society where I am told as a young adult and soon to be a legal adult to, you know, be independent and take care of myself and be a strong, independent female, and yet then I'm asked, why am I not in a relationship? Even some family members, when they find out that I'm not in a relationship, they look at me like I have another set of eyes and I'm such a weird human being for not being in a relationship. But I give my honest answer because I try and be as honest as possible with anybody who knows me, and I say, you know, I'm just trying to work on myself, or, you know, I just want to focus on myself right now. They seem to think that that's kind of some facade and there must be some other reason that I'm not in a relationship. Like I've taken an interest in a certain person and they must not like me back, and that's why I'm not dating. And yet I'm being as open and honest as I can and my answer isn't being accepted at all. And I feel like I'm kind of rambling at this point, but then there's that group of people who ask me if I'm happy with where I am in life, and I will answer honestly yes. And then they'll find out that I'm not in a relationship and they'll look at me like I'm lying because of course I can't be happy unless I'm sharing my life and depending on another person. And then it just brings me back to my question, why can't I be happy with being by myself and working on myself? Because at the end of the day, you are the most important aspect of your life. That's why it's called your life. And if you're not happy, then you're not living your life to the fullest. And while I believe that there is a certain aspect of life that becomes better when you find your soulmate and the one to share your life with, for me, in reality, until you're happy with yourself and you've worked on yourself and you just love yourself wholeheartedly, you know, you can't reach that next level yet, and you should be focusing on that level. And it all just brings me back to my main question, which is why can't people be satisfied with knowing that somebody's not in a relationship because they want to work on themselves and focus on themselves and put themselves first? 2016 has been a very interesting year for me. I will be making a video kind of going more in depth with that in a few weeks, so if you're super interested, be sure to stick around on my channel. But for the first half of 2016, there was this kind of void in my life, if you will, and I thought I could fill that void with relationships, and then it turned out that that wasn't accurate at all. And looking back on it, I feel pretty silly and stupid for thinking that. But at the time, it wasn't stupid to me, and it's a learning experience, and every experience you have shapes you into the person that you are today. But I thought I could fill the void of kind of emptiness and loss that I was feeling with relationships, and then I realized it all comes down to myself. You know, you can never depend on just another person making you happy. You have to make yourself happy. I was in a relationship briefly at the very beginning of the year, and it ended quite abruptly and suddenly, and I know I've talked about it a little bit on this channel, but it was definitely my first heartbreak. And after that episode of my life came to a very sudden close, you know, I would kind of pretend, and when my friends were like, oh, you know, are you okay with being single? I would say, yeah, of course I am. And then in the back of my mind, there'd be that little voice that was like, no, you're not, Ruby, no, you're not. And I would try and say, you know, oh, I'm okay with being the single friend, I'm fine without being in a relationship. And that's fine to say if that's the case, if you're being truthful with yourself. But at the time, I wasn't, and I still thought that I needed a relationship. I thought that once I found that, I would be truly happy and content. And then about halfway through the year, I kind of sat down with myself and said, Ruby, you need to be able to say that statement and mean it. You need to be able to say that you are okay with not being in a relationship and not have an ounce of doubt or feeling like you're lying to yourself in the back of your head. Until you can say that wholeheartedly, you've got a lot to work on. And so I really started to kind of apply myself to that statement, and I started working on myself and realizing that life is not about being in a relationship. And yes, there are times, being a 17-year-old girl, that I sure wish I was, and I think that it might make life easier. And then I realized, no, that's not true. You can't rely on somebody else to make your life easier. They can help, but if you are solely depending on them, that's not healthy for your partner, and that's not healthy for you either. And I'm trying to kind of relate this back to the initial topic of my video, and I hope that it's kind of making sense, but after that conversation with my friend, I got back in my car and I sat down and I thought, wow, should my life revolve around trying to find a relationship and trying to be in a relationship? He seemed so sure of the fact that I am not reaching my full potential at this age because I'm not dating or I'm not actively looking to be in a relationship. And so should I reevaluate where I am in life? And then I realized that it wasn't me who needed to readjust the lens and kind of readjust the viewpoint that I was looking at the situation from. It was him. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being the single friend, and actually there are a lot of benefits to it, and it does get lonely at times, I'm not gonna lie, that happens a lot. But there are also so many benefits and things that you learn about yourself by being on your own. And just because you're not in a romantic relationship, that does not mean that you are alone and completely isolated in any way. If this year has taught me one thing, anything at all, it has taught me that as long as I have amazing friendships and those kinds of relationships in my life, that's really all I need to kind of fill my heart, and that just got really cheesy. And I can't wait for the day that I finally find somebody who is willing to be in a fully committed relationship with me, and somebody who I feel the same feelings for them as they do for me. You know, I can't wait until somebody looks at me wearing this Mickey Mouse onesie and absolutely no makeup on my face and a breakout on my forehead and says, wow, you look absolutely beautiful and I love you. Until that day comes, I'm happy with myself and I'm happy by myself. And I can finally say that honestly and wholeheartedly, and that is kind of the best thing ever. Okay, I think that's all I have to say, but I hope that this video made a little bit of sense. I hope that it wasn't too long, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up to let me know that you would like to see more of me on this channel, and leave your video requests in the comment section down below. Please subscribe and help me grow the Ruby Rocks the World family. It would mean the world to me. Follow me on all my social media networks. Links are always in the down bar below. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day, night, afternoon, whenever you all are watching this, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Okay, bye guys!